The morning light slips through the curtains, soft and golden. Margaret opens her eyes slowly, feeling the quiet around her. She stretches one arm, then the other, and a small sigh escapes her lips. Her shoulders feel heavy, her back a little stiff from years of routine. Outside, birds sing as if calling her to move, to breathe again. She remembers when mornings used to feel different, full of energy and ease. Back then, she would water her garden before breakfast, humming softly to herself. Now she pauses before getting out of bed, wondering where that lightness went. It's not just age, she thinks. It's time, time that makes the body forget how to move freely. But today feels different. Something gentle stirs inside her. She decides to listen, to the body she's ignored, to the quiet whisper of change. Maybe, she thinks, it's not too late to feel alive again. She sits up slowly, feet touching the floor, spine straightening with care. The air feels cool, fresh, welcoming her to start anew. A deep breath fills her lungs, calm yet powerful. And as she exhales, she smiles softly. Today she will stretch. Not to chase youth, but to meet herself again. The morning sun climbs higher, painting gold across the quiet room. Margaret stands by the window, hands resting on the sill, breathing in the light. Her body feels slow, like an old clock winding back into motion. She rolls her shoulders gently, hearing the faint whisper of joints waking. It's been months since she allowed herself to just move without reason. Years of habits, long hours sitting, have built invisible walls around her muscles. Now she wants to find a door through them, one breath at a time. She starts by lifting her arms, palms open toward the ceiling. The stretch feels small, but it reaches deep, stirring warmth in her chest. She inhales deeply, and the air feels sweet, almost new. Her fingers tremble slightly, but she smiles through it. Every movement feels like rediscovering a forgotten language. Her neck tilts slowly from side to side, easing the tightness that once felt permanent. The world outside moves gently, birds crossing the sky, leaves whispering in the wind. Margaret feels the rhythm of life, syncing with her own slow motion. She realizes she's not broken. She's just been still for too long. Her spine curves forward as she leans down, fingertips brushing her knees. The stretch hums through her legs, reminding her of strength still waiting. For a moment, she pauses and listens to her heartbeat, steady and kind. She remembers her younger days, long walks by the lake, dancing at weddings. Those moments weren't lost, they were simply resting. Her body remembers them now, every sway, every step, every reach. She bends her elbows, brings her hands to her chest, and breathes again. Each exhale feels like letting go of the years she carried on her shoulders. Her joints respond, slowly but surely, as if grateful for the attention. The stiffness softens, the silence inside her body begins to sing. She thinks of all the mornings she woke up tired before the day began. The weight of routine, the endless to-do lists, the quiet ache she ignored. Today, she gives herself permission to feel everything, to move without fear. She doesn't need to be fast. She doesn't need to be perfect. All she needs is presence. Her toes flex, her ankles roll, her breath deepens with each gentle sway. The floor beneath her feels solid, yet soft, holding her in every step. Her arms open wide once more, stretching like wings against the light. She feels something shift, a spark of energy, a pulse of joy. Margaret laughs softly, surprised by the sound of her own happiness. It feels honest, like sunlight breaking through clouds after a long rain. She realizes movement isn't about pushing limits, it's about coming home. Home to a body that still listens. Home to a self that still believes in beginning again. She closes her eyes and whispers, "Thank you," to no one and everyone. Her morning stretch continues, slow and tender, like a conversation with life itself. Every breath she takes fills her not just with air, but with quiet power. The kind that comes from choosing herself, gently, after so many years. And in that moment, as light dances across her skin, Margaret begins again. The next morning arrives quietly, with soft light touching the edges of the curtains. Margaret sits on her favorite chair, a cup of warm tea resting between her palms. Her body feels lighter today, though the stiffness still whispers beneath the skin. She takes a slow sip, watching the steam curl upward like a silent invitation. She remembers what her doctor once said about aging and the body's quiet changes. Muscles shorten, joints stiffen, the spine bends forward, little by little, without us even noticing. But the truth, she thinks, is not about loss, it's about listening. The body speaks in tension, in pauses, in the way it sighs when we finally move. She sets down her cup and stands, her bare feet pressing against the cool floor. A breath in, a breath out. She feels her ribs expand, her lungs waking like old friends. Stretching, she realizes, is not just for the young or the strong. It's for anyone who wants to feel alive in their skin again. Her arms lift above her head, fingers reaching high toward the ceiling. The motion is simple, yet her heart beats with quiet pride. She feels blood rushing through her veins, warming her hands, her feet, her soul. It's like the first spark of a small fire in winter, gentle, steady, comforting. She lowers her arms slowly, noticing how every inch of movement brings awareness. Awareness of what has been neglected, but never lost. The body remembers how to heal when given a little attention. Margaret thinks about her friends, some older, some younger. Many of them talk about pain, about slowing down, about giving up certain things. But she wonders, what if it's not the years that make us slow, but forgetting to move? Stretching, she realizes, is not only physical. It wakes something deeper, the will to keep showing up for life. She bends her knees slightly, lifting her shoulders again, rolling them in slow circles. Each rotation melts a small piece of tension away. Her neck follows, tilting gently, releasing the tightness that has lived there too long. The sound of her breath fills the room, steady like a calm ocean wave. In this rhythm, she feels ageless. The lines on her skin tell stories, but they do not define her motion. Her heart still beats with the same tempo it did when she was 20. She smiles softly, feeling both time and timelessness blend within her. A thought drifts through her mind. Stretching is a way of saying thank you. Thank you to her knees for carrying her. Thank you to her back for bending when life got heavy. Thank you to her arms for holding, for reaching, for embracing the world. Every inhale fills her with gratitude. Every exhale releases what no longer serves her. She moves slower now, but not weaker. Her body has learned patience, and patience is its own kind of strength. As she finishes her morning stretches, she feels warmth blooming from within. It's not just blood flow, it's joy small and sincere. Margaret closes her eyes, smiling at the simplicity of it all. To stretch is to honor the body that has carried her through every season. And in that quiet moment she realizes, age does not limit movement, it deepens it. The day begins softly, with a hint of light spilling across the wooden floor. Margaret stands near her window again, her reflection faint in the glass. Today, she wants to focus on the part of her body that speaks the loudest, her upper body. Her shoulders have carried years of worry, her neck has held countless thoughts. She closes her eyes and lets her breath settle into rhythm. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Slow, steady, gentle. She lifts her shoulders toward her ears, holding for a count of 3. Then she lets them drop with a sigh, feeling tension melt like ice in warm sunlight. She repeats the motion again, finding a quiet pleasure in the release. Each roll of her shoulder feels like untangling invisible knots of time. Her arms begin to move too, sweeping outward, reaching as if to embrace the air. The motion feels free, light, like wings remembering how to fly. Margaret smiles at the thought, how something so small can feel so beautiful. She raises her arms above her head, fingertips stretching toward the ceiling. Her spine elongates, her chest opens, her breath deepens. For the first time in years, she feels tall, centered, alive. The stretch awakens warmth across her upper back, radiating into her hands. Her palms turn outward, then slowly lower to her sides. Each movement is a conversation with her body, gentle and kind. She circles her wrists, listening to the small creaks that once frightened her. Now she sees them as signs of life, of motion returning where stillness once ruled. Her neck tilts gently to the right, then the left, easing the tightness in each turn. Every tilt feels like a small bow to herself, a quiet act of self-respect. She feels her blood flow rise, her heart steady but strong. The mirror reflects her face, peaceful, almost glowing. She whispers softly, "This is me, still here, still moving." She moves to the next stretch, clasping her hands behind her back. Her shoulders roll open, her chest lifts higher, her breath flows easier. It feels like opening a window after a long winter. The air rushes in, cool and refreshing, filling every corner of her lungs. Margaret lets her head fall back slightly, eyes closed, a soft hum escaping her lips. The sound is quiet, but it carries joy, the kind that lives deep in the bones. Her fingers loosen, arms fall to her sides, body gently swaying with the rhythm of breath. She sits down in her chair, spine straight, shoulders relaxed, eyes still closed. With each inhale, she draws in calm. With each exhale, she releases the weight of yesterday. Her mind clears, her body listens, her heart steadies. She feels connected again, to herself, to the quiet strength within her. Stretching isn't about pushing limits, she realizes. It's about remembering softness, creating space, finding grace in movement. She opens her eyes and looks outside, where sunlight shimmers across the garden. Her shoulders no longer ache. Her breath feels full. And as she stands once more, she knows this is how healing begins, one gentle motion at a time. The afternoon light pours softly through the window, warm and calm. Margaret rolls out a small mat on the floor, its surface cool beneath her feet. Today, she wants to move deeper, to explore the parts of her body that hold the most weight. Her hips, her legs, her knees, all the anchors of every step she's ever taken. She begins by standing tall, feet hip-width apart, toes pointing forward. Her hands rest gently on her hips as she breathes in, steady and slow. She exhales and bends her knees slightly, feeling the quiet strength of her legs awaken. Her thighs tremble a little, but she doesn't mind. That trembling, she thinks, is life speaking through her muscles. She shifts her weight from one foot to the other, feeling the balance return. The body remembers how to move when the mind learns to trust again. Margaret places her hands on the back of a chair for support. She lifts one leg slowly, drawing small circles in the air with her foot. Her hips open, the tension loosens, and warmth spreads through her lower back. It's a gentle motion, but it carries something powerful: freedom. She switches legs, repeating the circles, slow and mindful. The creaks and pops no longer scare her, they remind her she's alive. She lowers both feet to the mat, grounding herself like roots finding soil. Then she bends forward, reaching toward her knees, then her ankles. Her fingertips brush the mat, her breath deepens, her spine releases. She stays there, suspended between effort and ease, between movement and stillness. Her hamstrings stretch, her calves awaken, her balance steadies. She breathes through the mild discomfort, welcoming it as a sign of renewal. Every inch of her body hums softly, a quiet harmony of strength and surrender. She slowly rises, vertebra by vertebra, until she stands tall again. Her body feels open now, grounded yet light. She steps one foot forward and bends gently into a lunge. Her front knee bends, her back heel lifts slightly, her hips sink with control. The stretch flows deep into her thighs, releasing years of hidden strain. She imagines the movement washing away the stiffness that once held her still. The floor beneath her feels like the earth, steady, forgiving, alive. She switches sides, her breath guiding the rhythm. Inhale for strength. Exhale for softness. Every motion feels like a small celebration of what her body can still do. Margaret lowers herself slowly, sitting cross-legged on the mat. Her hips feel lighter, her knees at ease, her feet resting naturally. She leans forward, arms stretching out, forehead gently touching the mat. The pose feels sacred, like a bow to her own perseverance. She stays there, breathing, smiling, resting in the simplicity of being. Her lower body feels renewed, her movements steady and kind. The stiffness has turned into warmth, the fatigue into peace. She sits upright again, her hands resting softly on her thighs. She whispers to herself, "This body has carried me far." Outside, the wind moves through the trees, and she feels herself move with it. For the first time in years, her legs feel free, her steps waiting to begin again. A week drifts by softly, each day blending into the next with gentle rhythm. Margaret has kept her promise, to stretch, to breathe, to move with kindness. Her mornings now begin not with hesitation, but with quiet anticipation. The mat waits by the window, rolled neatly, like a small invitation to begin again. She has learned that it's not the length of the routine that matters. It's the consistency, the small daily rituals that awaken her body and calm her mind. Each morning she lights a candle before she starts, its flame steady and warm. It's her signal to slow down, to be present, to listen inward. She begins with her breath, feeling the air fill her lungs, expanding her chest. The first stretch always feels familiar now, like greeting an old friend. Her neck rolls gently, shoulders loosen, and her spine straightens naturally. The stiffness fades faster these days, replaced by a soft, glowing energy. Margaret smiled as she remembers how hard it was at first. The soreness, the doubts, the tiny voice that said, "You're too old for this." But every day she moved anyway, slowly, quietly, patiently. And with time, that voice grew weaker, drowned out by the rhythm of her breath. She learned to celebrate the smallest progress, a deeper reach, a steadier balance. Each motion became a gift, not a task to finish. She began to notice changes beyond the physical too. Her sleep deepened, her mornings felt lighter, her steps more confident. The fog that once clouded her mind began to clear, replaced by calm focus. Her friends noticed it too, the spark in her eyes, the way she carried herself. Margaret told them it wasn't magic, only habit and care. 10 minutes a day, she said, can change the way you feel about life. She realized that stretching is a form of conversation with her body. Some days it whispers gently, some days it stays quiet. But it always responds when she listens. She found comfort in repetition, in the rhythm of her own breathing. It reminded her of music, simple, peaceful, endlessly familiar. She added a few new stretches over time, following what felt natural. A slow twist for her spine, a deep bend for her hips, a soft reach toward the sky. Each move felt like adding color to a blank canvas. Her mornings became her sanctuary, a space where age had no authority. Here she was timeless, strong, and kind all at once. She began to end each session with gratitude, hands over her heart. "Thank you," she would whisper, "for this breath, this body, this moment." The candle flame flickered, reflecting the quiet pride in her eyes. She understood now that healing doesn't happen all at once. It happens in the quiet repetition of care, in every small motion of love. The days flowed by, and she no longer counted them. Consistency had become part of who she was, a rhythm that needed no reminder. As she rolled up her mat, sunlight kissed her shoulders. She smiled, knowing that each gentle stretch was not just movement, it was becoming. The morning air feels lighter now, filled with the scent of blooming jasmine. Margaret opens her window wide, letting the breeze dance across her face. She moves with quiet confidence, her steps steady, her body awake. It's been weeks since she began this journey of gentle movement and care. What once felt heavy now feels natural, like breathing, like smiling. Her joints no longer ache when she rises from bed. Her back straightens easily, her breath flows without effort. She rolls her shoulders, stretching her arms toward the soft blue sky. The motion feels effortless, like a song her body finally remembers. Outside, the garden waits for her, the place that started it all. She steps barefoot into the grass, cool and damp from morning dew. Each blade of grass brushes her toes, grounding her in the present moment. The world seems brighter, the air fresher, the light more kind. She bends to touch a flower, her knees steady, her balance strong. This simple act feels miraculous, a quiet victory she once thought impossible. Margaret smiles, not out of pride but gratitude. Her body has changed, yes, but her spirit has too. Stretching has become more than movement, it's become meditation. Each motion whispers to her, "You are alive, you are capable, you are enough." She moves through her sequence slowly, flowing with ease and intention. Her breath guides her rhythm, her heart sets the pace. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Every muscle sings softly, every joint hums with warmth. She feels energy rise through her like sunlight moving through leaves. It's not the kind of energy that rushes, it glows quietly like trust. Her reflection in the window shows strength wrapped in softness. Lines on her face shimmer with light, each one a mark of a life well lived. She no longer compares herself to the woman she once was. She honors the woman she is now, wiser, calmer, full of grace. Movement, she realizes, has given her more than flexibility. It has given her peace, the kind that lingers even when the stretching ends. Her laughter comes easier now, her nights are deeper, her mornings brighter. Even her friends notice the change, asking her secret with curious smiles. She tells them it isn't magic, it's kindness to oneself repeated daily. She invites them to join her, not in exercise but in rediscovery. Because stretching, she says, is not about the body alone. It's about returning home, to breath, to stillness, to joy. The wind carries her words softly, like a promise. Margaret takes one last deep breath, filling her chest with sunlight. She exhales slowly, eyes closing, a serene smile touching her lips. Her body feels light, her heart open, her soul steady. Age no longer feels like a cage, but a map of stories she carries with pride. She stands in the middle of her garden, arms wide, eyes bright with peace. In that quiet moment, surrounded by light and air, she feels whole. Not younger, not older, just fully, beautifully alive. The sun begins to set, painting the sky in shades of gold and rose. Margaret sits quietly on her porch, the evening breeze soft against her skin. Her body feels calm, her breath slow and steady, her heart full. She watches the light fade gently, the day closing like a peaceful sigh. It's strange, she thinks, how something as simple as stretching could change everything. Not just her body, but her mind, her spirit, her way of being alive. She no longer moves to chase youth, but to honor life itself. Each breath reminds her that growth never stops, no matter the age. She smiles, remembering the mornings when she could barely bend or lift her arms. Now, every motion feels like gratitude written into her muscles. The years no longer weigh her down, they guide her forward with quiet wisdom. She closes her eyes, feeling the rhythm of her breath, the warmth of her body. For a long moment there is nothing but peace, soft and infinite. She whispers to herself, I am still learning how to live. And as the stars begin to appear above, Margaret feels timeless. Still moving, still breathing, still beautifully alive.